You are being slaughtered and you don't realize it. It all happened already. In 2008, the world stopped. The whole debt system blew up. So we are paying the debts by printing money. Pure debasement. The system broke in 2008. We then changed the financial system with the Basel III agreements, which forced the banks to lend less and to hold more treasuries. Why? There's going to be a lot of supply of treasuries. The whole system, everybody's aware that it's broken. It broke.
Today, we're getting deeply into an intriguing and informative topic, the situation of the world economy. Financial researchers and pundits have been talking about the inevitable collapse of the fiat money system for years. Some have even predicted a global catastrophic reset that may wipe away trillions of dollars and ruin lives. But what if I told you that this collapse might have already happened? Real Vision's creator and CEO, Raoul provides an interesting analysis of the circumstances. He contends that the much-feared financial collapse we have been anticipating actually happened in 2008, not how we might expect. Raoul claims that the financial system we currently live in is a post-collapse one that is quietly doing havoc underneath the surface. Central banks intervened with a flurry of quantitative easing policies in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, thereby delaying the crisis's actual costs. To pay off debt and maintain the appearance of normalcy, governments chose to print large quantities of money. This has brought us to a situation where everyone is experiencing the consequences of a hidden inflation tax, which is gradually reducing our purchasing power and making things more difficult financially for regular people. Raoul examines the ways in which the 2008 catastrophe changed today's financial environment, the unspoken consequences of this continuous financial farce, and the terrible truth of our current situation in a recent interview with Bilyeu. Come along as we dissect Pal's observations about how we ended up in debt slavery and what may be the only way out of this predicament.
In 2008, the world stopped. The whole debt system blew up. We had to have a debt jubilee of resetting all government debts around the world at zero so we could afford to service it. We've kept rates low. We've been then using the balance sheet of all of the central banks just to pay the interest on the debt from the previous cycles. This is this everything code thesis that you and I have talked about. So we are paying the debts by printing money. Pure debasement. The system broke in 2008. We then changed the financial system with the Basel III agreements, which forced the banks to lend less and to hold more treasuries. Why? There's going to be a lot of supply of treasuries. The whole system, everybody's aware that it's broken. It broke. So what is going on now? Well, for it to actually break, the down 90%, it's all going to be 1929 again. Can't you just see it? You're missing the point. They're debasing the currency by 15% a year. It adds up to a staggering loss of wealth. It is a tax that you don't see. 15% a year debasement is easier than increasing your tax rate 15%, which is politically unacceptable, which is what they need to do to pay the debt. Because the printing of money just debases the currency. So you are paying it. We are all paying it. You can't have assets going down 90%, the core collateral of the system, if they're debasing the currency, because they go up optically because the currency is going down. The Venezuelan stock market goes up in Bolivar terms and down in dollar terms, right? So therefore, if your collateral keeps going up, which is what they learned in 2008, is we can backstop the entire thing by debasing the currency quickly, the collateral goes up, and hey presto, my debts aren't so bad. Okay, magic. It's not magic, as you know. It's a sleight of hand. It's not pure magic. What they're doing is robbing you in a different way. Okay, this has happened before. This is exactly what happened in the 1940s and 50s. Saddled with massive debts after World War II, the large economies did the same thing. Financial repression, they had yield curve control, which is buying of government bonds, keeping interest rates low, which we've seen, and they just printed money. And over time, the value of the debt had eroded. And what they'd managed to do was create a productivity miracle, which drove GDP growth. I also believe that GDP growth equals productivity plus population plus debt growth. I think debt growth died in 2008, and all debt growth now is servicing of old debts. And population has been shrinking. So economies have been slow and productivity is low because of aging populations. We're just bringing AI and robots into the workforce. It's infinite humans. So GDP growth driven by productivity and population growth is what I think is on the horizon, which is what rescues this. But after what? 15% a year debasement of currency? You know, you add 10 years of that and you've lost most of your money. So none of us disagree. We're all getting but it's how you're going to get You're going to get in one go because it all burns to the ground, or you don't really know you're being screwed, but you're just going to get angrier and angrier. That's what we're seeing. Politics has gone like this because everybody's so bloody angry because they can't figure out who's screwing them and they're blaming each other. What screwed them is there was too many old people and they borrowed too much money.
Raoul believes that as long as governments and central bankers continue to print money and prop up the markets, they will be able to maintain control over the situation. He believes that the economy will continue to struggle to stay afloat and to barely scrape by thanks to a mound of debt. Hal does not, however, rule out the possibility of an unexpected, complete collapse. In his view, the current primary function of the Federal Reserve and other central banks is to provide assistance to the baby boomer population. A complete breakdown of the system and a chaotic atmosphere could result from their failure. Hal contends that because of their sheer numbers, baby boomers are the main source of the issue. All of the money creation that is taking place is ultimately only a band-aid solution for a seriously damaged system, which paradoxically makes matters worse over time. The loop of patching things up that central banks are caught in is just delaying the inevitable. Hal believes that we are all in grave danger, along with the banking system. Let's hear what Raoul has to say next.
If I'm right that AI plus robots is infinite productive units, and you see how fast it's coming, you literally are not capable of understanding what an economy looks like beyond 2030. That's the problem I've got here. I'm not concerned about the cliff of death, right, that we're going through. I found an asset that I can invest in, crypto, or I could buy technology, and it's offsetting the mess of the debasement, so I'm fine. What's harder is to say, what does an economy mean after 2030 when you've got endless AI and robots and AGI? What is a company? What value do you provide in that world, or I provide? We sit there talking to people about it and thinking our way through it, but both you and I are developing AI tools of which we will have a digital Tom and a digital Raoul, and we don't even need to turn up to these, and they'll do a pretty good job. We're both working on these things, right? But are we going to be just replaced? The point being is when you go to like Nick Bostrom, who is the key thinker about this at Oxford University, who wrote the book, I can't remember the famous book about the whole kind of where the future's going. There's a group there, an economics group there, who share the same concerns as me. It's like, if this is right, you could double GDP in a year, global GDP, or a week. What do companies mean when AI? I have a theory that OpenAI is using AGI to build its own AI, which is why they're iterating so fast with, 500 people? Madness what they're doing. How fast they're iterating. I've never seen anything like it. Even Elon Musk is like, I've never seen anything like what's going on here. The more we have AI to build AI, to build businesses, the faster and faster this goes. So in answer to your question, the explosion could be the other way around. It might not be the economy imploding. It could be the economy exploding in a way that we don't even know how to deal with it. What do humans mean? What is our job? All of this stuff you and I have talked about. I actually worry about very different things. I don't worry about the economy going down the toilet because I know how they're dealing with that. They've kind of set the rule book. I can make money from that. That's okay. It's this other bit. That's the hard bit. That's more scary.
Raoul presents an intriguing and scary view of how the economy will develop in the future, with artificial intelligence and robotics developing at a rapid pace. He contends that while investments in technology and cryptocurrency will help calm present fears of an economic collapse, the actual problem will not be solved until beyond 2030. Pal suggests that as AI and robotics continue to evolve, they could lead to a scenario where productivity and innovation reach unprecedented levels, fundamentally altering our understanding of the economy. This could result in an explosion of economic activity that we might struggle to comprehend or manage. He highlights that the true concern is not that the economy will fail, but rather how we will redefine economic value and function in a future where robots and artificial intelligence are commonplace. AI is developing at a faster rate than before, which means that the definitions of businesses and employment may change significantly. In conclusion, Pal is more worried about negotiating this new area of economic change, where conventional ideas about value and work might become extinct. Rather than concentrating merely on getting by during the current financial difficulties, his goal is to figure out how to adjust to these changes.